Good morning and welcome to Lillie Building Company, Building the Future, Repairing the Past, episode number 4. Good morning and welcome back to Project West. It's pouring down with rain. We made great progress last week. Let's hope that we can make some good progress this week. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Managed to go and get my ears lowered and get rid of some of my grey hairs over the weekend as well, which is always a bonus. So last time we were here, we were lifting these steel gable frames and ridge beams in. Both of them are now on, and the joiners have made it to site. So we've got roof timbers in, we're getting these roof sections ready for fascia and soffits going on, and for the tiled covering going on as well. Last time we were here, I was talking about these posts that go in at the back that hold this ridge beam up. Traditionally, you'd normally put a cavity wall in there, but due to the location of the wall plates and the roof arrangement, we can't do that, unfortunately. So it's actually easier for us to build a stud wall on top of that steel that's in there above that new opening and insulate the inside of that partition, and then over insulate that wall with some insulated plasterboard. So that's going to bring that together nicely. On these, we've got a set of bifold doors going in this one with a lovely bit of gable frame glass. I think that one over there is a fixed frame window underneath, again with gable frame glass going in, and there's a set of bifolds going in there as well. It's going to be a really nice, beautiful, light, open space, this extension. I've got a rubber box gutter going in through here, 2 valleys going in at the back, and then this room that's over here, I don't want to keep doing the fandango over these steels, but that room there also gets renovated. And you remember that I spoke last time about the internals, with completing the kitchen is now done and the utility room is installed as well. So great progress on here. The other thing that we've done, you remember in really early episodes, I was talking about the drainage here and just how much of a pain in the backside it is with being on the floodplain. The A50 is just over there, and you might be able to hear the traffic. It's certainly loud today. This garden floods, so once you get a good blast of heavy rain, it just cascades down this garden, and there's no real drainage in at the back. So we've put drainage in, and we've also put a drainage tank in down there as well, which will actually pump that rainwater down to drainage connects on the side. So it's moving. We've still got a bit of mud. I love seeing mud on projects. Maybe I'm a bit of a weirdo for stuff like that. But it's moving. We're grateful that the roofers, grateful that the joiners are in and that the roofers are booked in. So next time we come down here, hopefully we'll have made a bit more progress. It's pouring down with rain. Let's go over to Project Cottage and see how Matt is getting on over there with the plastering work this week. Welcome back to Project Cottage. The sun is now shining. We've just come from a very rainy Project West, and this is the IWI system that I was talking about. So we've got our backing plaster that's on now, that was shown in the last video. Then this is our IWI that goes on top with these pretty funky plastic fixings. You drill a little hole through and then tap these in. They act essentially like a raw plug and hold this on. You then get the batten system that goes on the top of it. With a membrane, the membrane's taped round onto this here, so that forms essentially an airtight corner, and then plasterboard and plaster sits on top of this. A little bit slow moving at the moment. There seems to be a couple of scope gaps on this one between where our electricians finished and then the electricians that we thought, or that we assumed, that are doing the air source heat pump and the underfloor heating for the bits that they did. So we've got a little bit of a short time delay, which is a bit frustrating because we were steaming through program, and now the bit of headroom that we had, that's now reducing a little bit, which is not good. We've got joiners in, getting ready to start putting the windowsills on. So windowsills are on downstairs, and Tim's coming up to get them on very shortly. Our electricians can't get in for another 3 or 4 days, so they'll be in early next week to finish these bits up here, because there's smoke detector to go in, fire alarm bits and bobs to go in. as well. Not much change in the other rooms upstairs. Matt's just getting ready for windowsills going on in there. We have got some of that tape system on in here again, so we've got membrane tape to go in there. There's a 20mm IWI that goes on that, and then membrane system goes around the reveal. So the front of the property is old construction, early 1900s, 1930s-ish we think, and then the back of it is actually an extension. So you can see on here, traditionally you would have cavity construction on this, but they haven't. It's been built solid, and then they've put an insulated plasterboard actually on top of, you can't really see it unless you're close in, on top of the old sand cement plaster, which is a bit naughty. Doesn't help us at all, but we are where we are, and you can only swim in the pool that you're swimming in. Let's take a little walk downstairs for what we've got here. The membrane system, when that's going in, is really, really bitty. Good thing here, we've got all of the plastering in this room now is done. Again, those little scope gaps that I was on about, now this door's gone in as per design. There's a little bit of a scope gap identified here, so we need to speak to the architect, get an instruction from him for what we're going to do on that there. And a couple of bits here then everywhere. I'm really worried that when it comes to air test that we're going to have air leakage on this chimney, so that's something again that we need to discuss with the architect today. Slow and steady on this one, but I'm still really happy with what I'm seeing so far. Getting ready to start getting plastered in that kitchen once it's first fixed. It's again a little bit of a variation there. Now I've got the client's final kitchen design. There's a couple of sockets and stuff to move as well. So yeah, so looking pretty good. Let's go over and have a look at Project Penny, because drainage inspection is on for today. So let's see how that's going over there. Let's go again. Welcome back to Project Penny. It's hailing. It's been for like 4 seasons in one day today. Big pour last week, and then we spoke a little bit in the last episode about drainage, which we're now cracking on with. You'll remember we spoke about the existing falls. So we had a chamber in here, and we've got another chamber that goes through that wall right in the far corner. And over a 12-metre run, that fall was about 280mm. We've now improved that slightly by putting a chamber in at that end. So some of the existing foul drainage goes into that chamber, and then all of that now falls over this end. Lots and lots of stuff going into that chamber. So we're just getting ready to sort of get the levels and stuff put on this and start concreting the things in. The lads are having a bit of a tea break because of the weather. Each of these pop-ups that we've got go across here, we're going to put a stubby stack in with a Durgo valve on, and then there'll be an access point onto each of those. This soil stack gets replaced in its entirety. This here, from that old hopper, that's the bath waste. We're going to take that out and the sink waste from upstairs and put that into the new stack on a strap-on. Boss, love a strap-on. Over here, this foul waste goes into the new chamber. And then that tea that's in there, that's actually for we're going to put a gully in there, and that'll be for the new kitchen sink waste. There's a stud wall that goes across all of this from end to end to seal that up so you don't see those access chambers. One of the hardest things about this one is over in this part over here. We've got a DDA compliant bathroom going in here, and we haven't got a finished and final design for that yet. Luckily it's a block and beam floor, so we can get access back underneath that to move those drainage points and stuff around if we need to. So we're going to put those pop-ups in where we think roughly they're going to go, and then when we've got roof on before we screed, we can get back in there and just tidy those bits up as we need to. It's looking pretty good. Nice to be in the mud, getting the drainage and that done. Always a big fan of groundworks packages, so it's been really good to get back in the ground. I've had a lot of internals on for the last 4 or 5 months. Anyway, need to get out the rain. Over we go to HQ, where we've got a little tender review meeting over there, so lots and lots of stuff that are at tender at the moment, 3 or 4 that we need to review today. So let's head it back to HQ and get dry. Oh, and breathe. So everyone has left the office for the day. It's been a jam-packed day today. Lots of stuff going on. And I'm actually now sitting in a bit of peace and quiet. Probably hear my spa music that's on in the back. Giving myself an hour just to catch up on our staff and labour programme. So essentially, where have we got people at the moment? Where do we need people? When have we got projects finishing? Where are the staff going next? We've got a small works team, and the great thing about the small works team is if they've got nothing on, they can help the larger works team out, and the larger works team helps the small works team out, and it all kind of links itself in together. One thing that we have got at the moment is a lot of small work stuff coming in, which I'm really grateful for. That can be a massive mixture. That can be, you know, just bricking up a window. It can be a new window and door going in. It can be lintels going in. It can be all the way from that up to a garage conversion. We have got garage conversions consistently coming in as well. We tend to have a lot of garage conversions, and as I've spoke about before, I love garage conversions. I feel like they can add some real commercial value to a property, and for us, great for the churn as well. We retain all of our own labour, so that's all of our own ground workers, joiners, plasterers, plumbers. Everything that we have as part of a business is all looked after in-house. So we need those small bits for when we've got the larger projects like Project Duffield. All it takes is a bit of change on there and delaying that program, and we've got quite a few members of staff down there. So that's certainly, you know, if we need to pull off site, or we need to pull out of a section for a day or two, that's kind of a massive problem with program, and also to us as well in terms of keeping them busy. We need to make sure we've got people that are doing the do. So I'm going through that, and I'm going through these small works tenders at the moment. I've got 2 full folders here of tenders that we're waiting for planners, might be that we're waiting for build regs to come back, so getting sign off from build regs, or it might be structural stuff we're waiting for, or it could be anything that we're waiting for. But it's a great little position to be in, especially if you read or you listen to what's going on in the economy at the moment. It's all very, very doom and gloom, and I don't quite know where they're getting their facts, figures and numbers from, because we are certainly very, very busy indeed. I'm going to finish my brew. I'm going to spend the next probably 10 minutes, because it is 6:15 now, getting this done, and I'm going to take myself home ready for a nice fresh start in the morning. Welcome back to Project Duffield. Work's progressing well so far this week. The lads on the roof have pretty much finished on there, getting ready to get the remaining soffit boards on, strike the scaffold and start inside. So we're at this point, radiators going on, and I'm stood in what's going to be our client's master ensuite bathroom. The bathroom design's actually been done for quite a while, so it's nice to be in a spot where we can start first fixing these rooms, front end. And you remember probably, I think it's in the first episode where I was talking about pulling that program forward. So, and this is one of the things that we do. So, got radiator positions being marked out in each of these rooms. This is going to be one of the bedrooms here, this space. And then in this area here, this is going to be on the bathrooms. And pretty much all the bathroom layouts are the same. So big old shower tray going in there with a toilet and with a wash hand basin in a vanity unit in this one. All the trays are pretty much the same size. The only real difference in there is the tile colour and size just changes in each of them very slightly. Got some glass going in above. Some really nice features and details, but it's really nice to be at that point where we're starting to mark out all of the first fix M&E, mainly radiators. You remember I spoke as well about this linen cupboard here having some form of heat in there. So we've worked for a couple of options with that this morning. Over in this one, same radiator positions, pretty much standard going in underneath the windows. The windows all get replaced on this project as well. Taking a look downstairs, because we've also got kitchen design and stuff now as well, which is really good to be in that position. So again, radiators, lots of glass in here. So we've got a radiator going on there, got a radiator going over on here as well. Feel a bit like, what's the face that was in changing rooms and that before? Can't remember her name now. Anyway, back in the room. So I've got kitchen layout here. I've got an island landing here. Kitchen gets wrapped around there. Sink below the window. Got cabinetry units going in there. Dining room table here. Log burner over here. And I'm doing this on purpose, so it's harder to follow. TV on the wall with potentially a bit of sofa action in there, which will be really cool. Also got cabinetry going on there. Sliding doors going in here. Got a log burner going in here as well. TV on the wall there, I believe. Sofa going in there. Radiator going on that stud wall. That's going to be the music room. Radiator underneath the window. It's really exciting point to be now in this project, and starting to get these little bits and bobs in, ready for getting the plasterers in, because before you know it, it'll be windows and doors and then the plasterers making their way in. One of the things I love about this space is just the size of this utility room and plant room. They're massive. So that in there is a utility room, sink underneath the window, and then got cabinetry and stuff going in. I certainly don't think our client's going to be short of space on here, or storage space at least anyway. Plant room in here. So we've got boiler going in, cylinder going in, big old mains board going in, so we've got 3-phase to pull into the project, along with all the bits and bobs that we need for outside. It's a big old space, so lots of electrics going in here, lots of lighting. I think there's 10 grand's worth of lighting in the garden, something like that, which is really interesting. But it's nice, it's very quiet on site today, because we're just in that spot where we're waiting for the first fixed brigade to come and get themselves involved. Little sink going in here in the garage as well, waste connection to outside. And we're just going through the motion at the moment with these garage doors at the front, because you can see they're pretty high. They're a pretty big old set of garage doors. There's a few reasons for that. One of the reasons is how out of level this the construction was on here, from gauge of new bricks coming round into old bricks and not being able to quite pick up and get gauge and stuff. So we have managed to now make that work, which is good. Looking forward to getting the roofers finished on this one, hopefully this week, and strike the scaffold to complete this garage roof and get fascia and soffits on, and then start getting ready on the back for cladding and for garden as well, which I did speak about loosely last time we were here, and said that we got the instruction through for it. I'm going to nip back when that's been set out, because it'll be more interesting than me just waffling on. Let's go and take a look down at Project Cottage, because that's also in its final little stages, and I believe the plasterers, all but a little bit of snagging, are complete. Welcome back to Project Cottage. We're in handover week this week, partial completion handover back to our client. He's got a few client directy things to do before we come in and do some more of our builders direct things to do. I'll talk you through it, it will make sense. I've spoken quite a few times about this internal wood insulation membrane system. That is all done. Skirtings are on, new window boards are on, new windows are in. We're looking pretty good. Heating system's in upstairs, on and working, much to the dismay of our contractors downstairs. In this bedroom, very similar story. Again in here, new window boards on windows, RWI's gone on this wall, membrane system. On here, we've actually run it all the way into the chimney breast, just to kind of alleviate any of these small little returns. New loft hatch gone in. We've got MVHR system in, which is part of the reason for dropping all these ceilings, to make everything upstairs airtight. Now, when you put MVHR into a building, you need to seal everything up in and around it, make sure you're not losing any air. And also in the bathrooms, you have a MVHR point in here as well, and that takes all the hot air out. So I'm glad it's not on, because it'll be taking me out, because I'm full of hot air, of course. Got the girls in doing a builder's clean, which is good. All this now upstairs is basically for us done, unless we decorate. It's one thing at the moment, variations to the client. We've costed decoration of the entire property. It wasn't part of the scope of works originally, so waiting for a decision on that. Got this engineered wood flooring going downstairs, and that's part of the reason why it's partial completion. client direct subcontractor, and then we're coming back in after to put the skirts and arcs on because it's all run in a herringbone pattern. On the back of here, I spoke about this previously, this was an extension, so the makeup of the wall system on here is different. There is a small cavity in there, although they've returned it, so we couldn't use our IWI system. So what we've got on here instead is like a tape membrane, and then it's easy filled in. So it works, so I'm told. Moving downstairs, lots of bits and bobs going on. This again's a little link of this IWI system that's on there, wood fibre insulation system, and then that's been plastered over as well. Down onto ground floor area, I'm absolutely in love with this big old piece of glass, giving our client a much better view. If you remember previously, it was split into 6, I think, that window, so a little bit dingy and a bit small. The windows are a Accoya, and again this front door is just absolutely lush, this porch door, really, really nice. A couple of scope gaps in this, which I spoke to the client about last week. So with a revised door position, there was never in the plan to do anything with this bit of flooring or reveals there, so the client's got to make a bit of a decision on that. Tim the joiner's in, he's just getting this door on underneath the stairs and a few little bits of patch and snagging. By the time that's done, the girls will be down here. We'll get all this hoovered, all ready to go back to our client at the end of this week. Other things to note on it, we've got to air test this, which I'm slightly worried about because this chimney, the bricks are really porous and there's so many little gaps and stuff to get your fingers into, and air's just going to draw up that straight away. So it's one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about that. We can apply a silicone-based product that you literally spray on at the end, which will seal it all up. I also think that this would look amazing to take all the mortar out of this and then to repoint it in a line-based mortar. I think that would work really well, but it's not my decision. That is pretty much it on this. I'm looking forward to getting it handed back to our client, him to get his floors laid, and then we'll know exactly what we're doing in terms of decoration. We've got to get skirtings and arcs down here, which is no point in doing until the floor's laid, because it's a herringbone patterned floor and you won't get it underneath skirts and arcs, and it's fairly thick and chunky as well. Welcome to Project No Name. I've not thought of a name for it yet, which I do need to. Started this one last week. It's an internal refurbishment of beautiful property. The views from front and back are phenomenal. Client's done a great job of speccing the job, and we're helping them create that vision and bring all that to life now. So starting off on the ground floor, property's upside down, so we've got a bedroom downstairs, got a garage through that room as well. We're going to put in here a downstairs toilet underneath the stairs. Drainage, we've got a real thing with drainage at the moment, being problems on all of our projects, and this one is telltale again, of course. So because this part of the house is so much lower than the front, we've actually got to put a macerator in, take the pipe work through this wall here, right through the garage, and then we have got a high level drainage connection on the opposite side, but we've had to get a super duper special macerator to get all the way over there. So the macerator is going to sit inside there. We've got a close coupled toilet going in. It's quite dark in here, so you won't see too much, but got a toilet going in here, got a wash hand basin going in there with a vanity unit, and then a door going on it here, which will be an opening door there as well. Ventilation for this one, always going to be an issue. Luckily, we've got a little dry riser above it. We're going to make a dry riser, which effectively at the moment is a cupboard with 2 double doors on. This is a concrete floor on here, so we've got to core through that concrete, take all that pipe work through. Let's go and have a little look upstairs as well while we're here. So we've got external works as well as internal works, but the first thing that we did on this one was we overskimmed these walls. We've put architraves on new as well, and we're putting new skirting boards in here. Got a box around all these pipes, which is a bit of a pain in the bum because the pipework on this side is actually higher than the radiator, so it means that we've got to do a little special detail around with the boxings, but it will look great, and I'm confident the lads are going to do a great job on this as well. Same in that bedroom over there. That one's actually done. I don't want to sit on Matt's head, but all the boxings in there have been done. Skirtings are on. Looks pretty good. It's got some big quirks in there, which kind of are what they are when you're boxing around pipes. Over in here in the living room, one of the first things that we've done, sorry Nick, is taking this chimney out. And then what happens on this one is the wallpaper gets stripped off the ceiling, electrics get moved around a little bit, and then got a load of plastering work doing here as well. There's a new heating system going in, and that's got to go in, and the boiler's got to move because we are taking this wall out here in the kitchen, like Annika Rice on whatever that program was. So this wall comes out, that gets pushed backwards, and then it means that the bathroom gets remodeled as well. So there's a lot of timber work going in here. The bath's coming out on Monday, and then we've got shower tray going in there. New wall gets built straight across where that one is there, and then the bath sits there, toilet and stuff gets moved over. So real change on this one. This is the dry riser area that I was talking about, as we get our pipework all the way to loft. We've put a new loft hatch in. The old one becomes redundant because that loft hatch would have been in the shower tray. Nobody really wants a loft hatch in the shower tray either, do they? So lots going on here. Really nice to be getting in nice and early and making headway. Get this one ready. It's a living client on it, so it means that we've got to program it in the right way where they don't lose too much. We end up boxing them in. So we've got to keep it functional for them as well, why they are living here. So really happy with this one so far. Let's go and take a little look down at Project West.
Because what my thought is, I'm just going to use some sticks with a lad.
Yes.
Just take it through.
Yes.
You know, up there,
yep.
same there,
yep.
there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's fine. Sticks on that, that's not a problem. That's absolutely fine. And then we need to get in to get these stud walls built, don't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to chuck Lewis down there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have got to take 3 of them out.
Fine.
To put fucking straps on.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
That's why I said, fucking hell, I've got them straps. I'll just drop 3.
Yeah.
Put them in. But, yeah. That bloke's happy as long as that rock wall stuff touches the back of our insulation.
We can cut out the sections in there and bring that rock wall through, can't we?
Yeah, so what you do, if you put a stud work frame in there,
yeah,
100mm insulation,
yep.
What he's saying is that roll, if that touches the back,
yeah,
he's happy with that.
Cool. Yeah,
There's
fine.
A few things, how's that being finished? Because that's...
Hey?
Hey up, who's been signing out 50 miles away and signing in?
Oh, plenty of you.
One called Hall?
Yes, but I did explain to him. Did he tell you?
No.
Where did I sign in at? Plastic.
Glasgow.
And the reason I signed in is because I went there to pick something up, to point it up, and if I'd have got here after 8 o'clock, he didn't say anything.
You've got the world's best van driver on your books, and you fucking going out picking your own material up.
You can't get hold of him after 2 o'clock.
Welcome back to Project West. The sun is shining. You will remember the start of this week. We were here in all that rain and hail. It was a bit grim, wasn't it? Massive changes since we were last here. Roof is fully signed off. One thing I'm really proud of with our team is just how quick we can get in and get things done. So roof timbers were done early in the week. The roof covering then straight on there. Scaffold was dropped yesterday. We had a visit from building control for them to sign that structure off. And now we're making a little bit of room inside. So follow me this way and I'll talk you through exactly what we've got going on. Got 100mm insulation gone in between these rafters, and because there's so much glass in this building, there's an 87.5mm plasterboard that goes over the face of them. You might remember I spoke a little while ago about these posts that are in. The reason for that, the roof on the existing building is a truss roof, and unfortunately, where the wall plate sits, we weren't able to cut the edge of those trusses off and put our cavity wall in. So instead, what we're doing is putting a stud partition across those, which is fully insulated, same makeup as this, and then we're actually putting insulated plasterboard over the face of that as well. Probably a bit overkill. It's not in the design, not in the spec, but want to really maximise the opportunity to get some extra insulation in on this one as well. This little product that we've used in here, where the steels are, that's called aerogel, and that will continue through on these steels as well, and on that steel at the top there. The electricians have been in, they first fixed already. Heating on this one, it's underfloor heating system, and the manifold is over here in this little room. That's going to go over on this wall here in a little cabinet. I think they've got a bit of cabinetry going in there, a little bit of storage for this space. And this on paper is down as the client's child's playroom. They love Lego here, certainly lots of Lego when we first come for our first ever visit on there. So I know this is going to be, they're going to make great use of this space. I'm really excited to see that come together. All hinging at the moment on delivery of the glazing system. So I'm going to catch up with the glazing contractor on that today and just see where they are in terms of their delivery times on that. Because from there we'll basically work our way backwards. If we need to, we have got the opportunity to strike these internal partitions that have been built and then partition all this off. But I was just saying to the lads, it's probably going to cost me about £1,000 to do that, all for the sake of maybe a day or two. So I'm going to bottom that out today from there. Lighting on this one's been really interesting as well. We've thought a lot about how we're going to light this space up, especially now we've included these Velux windows in at the top as well. So we're looking at putting some hanging pendants in each side, and then there's some wall lighting going in there as well. Got a little bit of external power and external lighting, and again, explicitly we spoke quite a lot about this previously, but there's a tank out here, so all of the storm drainage actually through these eco drains and from the pop-ups will go into this tank here, and then that basically blasts all of that water down there, and then the drainage pipework then runs down that side. We've put new drainage in on the front, which was for the kitchen refurb and for the utility room to go in, but there was never anything at the back of the property. So to get pipework in all the way across and link that in would have been an extremely costly exercise. So the client's actually done this work himself. It's all been signed off by building control. We're happy with that and they're happy with that. And I think it's a great addition, especially considering, I mentioned again quite a few times before, is the A50 just runs at the back of that garden area there, and the clay table is really, really high. So as soon as we get a good downpour of rain on here, they were flooding inside before. So again, eco drains have made a great addition into this extension. I'm really happy with how it's going here. Our client is now really happy with how it's going as well. I'm sure they're happy and grateful to see our lads back on site and inside. Let's go and take a look over at Project Duffield.
That patio down, halfway set, and then trickle all that out, grade it all out properly.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Because you'll still be able to get a dig around anyway.
Yeah. You can off-hire that and get it back then in a few weeks ago.
Yeah. The only thing we need to really think about is access through, but to be honest, with the levels and that the way that we are, we'll be able to get round and straight through the middle anyway, won't we? It's more the thing that I need to work out. We'll probably got to drop James in next week. Is just to work out. Welcome back to Project Duffield. You remember the start of this week we had stormy weather, and now we have this wonderful, lush, beautiful sunshine. So we're making lots of hay while it shines. The lads have been cracking on in this garden, making some fantastic progress. You remember at the end of the last episode, we dropped an overlay in while I was talking about the instruction that had been received, and we can achieve a lot in a week with our team. So let's take a little look through. Steve and the boys have been cracking on nice and hard, getting these foundations in for this, ready for this half-penny patio going in here. The lawn in this area was so lumpy, bumpy that we've actually taken all the turf off. I'm going to topsoil it all up and just tweak those levels slightly. Over in that area there as well, I'm going to take you around there in a minute. We've stockpiled a load of topsoil, which I think about 22 tonne, and overall, I imagine we're probably going to end up importing probably about another 30, 40 tonne in here as well at the same time. So we've got big half-penny porcelain patio going in here. There's a set of steps that go in there, and all that comes off of a blocked pave path. The boys have also dug out the pond. We'll take a little look over there, shall we? So we've dug out this pond. That all goes in layers. So we dig to the greatest depth, concrete a slab foundation there, build off the top of that, and then we've got a little shelf. So we've got blockwork going all the way around. Blockwork goes through here, and then you've got another foundation that's cast. Blockwork goes in to build that shelf, and then it's all GRP'd at the end ready for the pretty delicious fishies to go in there as well. These walls get completed, get rendered. Been talking a little bit about levels on this because I think it'd be really nice to actually rake these down around to tweak the ground level, but won't repeat the words that Steve said to me when I mentioned about doing that, but it started with an F and it ended with 2 Fs. So I'm sure you can imagine what I mean on that one. Whee. Over on here, we've got this lush, again, walkway, which is actually a self-compacting aggregate from Breedon that goes in here, which is pigmented. That's going to lead us up to Martin's workshop. So on this one, I've suggested to the client, because this workshop gets hidden behind this tree, that we put a big concrete slab in for that. Workshop sits on that, and then what we do over here is we're actually going to put a little patio in there using a buff textured slab. So we can have this as a bit of a breakout area, have a little bistro set up there. Martin can make himself a brew when he's having a break from his workshop activities as well. Gonna be absolutely lush. There is so much garden lighting in this as well. Over 10 grand's worth of lighting. I thought that 10 grand in lighting would get you a really long way, but apparently not. This is our big old stockpile of topsoil. We're going to lay this out and then we're going to hand rake it all so we can take all of these bits and bobs out of it. There's still a few bits of pottery and stuff that's in there, but a hand rake will get rid of all of that. This then gets returfed. All of that's returfed around there, right the way down to the front to where that pond area is. So the drone footage that we put in earlier, you'll see exactly where we are with it. That I'm really grateful to be doing this garden. I do love a bit of landscaping and groundworks, and this is no exception. It's going to be fantastic when it's done. Let's go and take a little look inside, because we've got some updates there. What's been cracking on outside, I've also been fulfilling that on the inside too. Project Duffield internals. There has been some changes in here. We've been dealing with bathrooms and things quite a bit. This is our client's forever home. We want to make sure that we're maximising the opportunities to get them exactly what it is that they want, and also make sure it's right for us as a builder. We have a duty of care to make sure that the project's delivered correctly and that we're all happy on it. So you might remember there was that 1930s terracotta style tiled wall here. I didn't like it. There was no risk, there's no pipework going on this wall, there's no cabling going on this wall, but it just didn't feel right to me. We looked at how we tie it in on the top and it just didn't work. So we've decided to knock it down and replace it with this brand new 4x2 stud wall. We are going to overply this wall as well before it's tiled to make it even more stronger than what it already is. So we've been talking bathrooms with our client and the bathroom designer. We've now opted for having a bath on that area there. We're going to go for a toilet on here and then a wash hand basin on a vanity unit with a nice big mirror on the wall there as well. And a towel rad over here. Dual fuel towel rads. I always recommend them to our clients. So typically I like to do a lot of running, a lot of hiking. I don't like it in the morning when I've got a damp towel. Bit of a snob in that respect, you might say, but perfect opportunity to maximise that for our client. We've also been talking a lot about niches, and the obvious thing on that bathroom there, 3 out of those 4 walls are all solid walls. So if you're going to put a niche in that, you've then got to overboard that wall, put some stud work in to form the niche. I always think if we're doing a project for someone, what would I do in my house? So something we've opted for in here is, you remember we've got showers going in here. So the first thing that I said to the client is you really want your shower controls at a point where you're not going to get wet, i.e. you don't want to be leaning into that shower to turn your controls on and get wet before you actually get in, or be cold if you get a blast of cold water. So we've got big shower tray going in here, shower controls going on there, towel rad going in here, and then we've got a toilet and a wash hand basin. Again, that's built into a vanity unit. On here, originally we planned for these to be glass, and these both be sink with a pedestal and just a closed coupled toilet. What we're now going to do is just lift this slightly so we don't see that through that glass panel that's in there. So the plumbers have been busy. We've got rads piped up upstairs and downstairs, all of their hot and cold feeds at least in underneath, ready for where we go. This bathroom has been a real, we spent a lot of time on this, and one of the bathroom designers has completely spun it around. I think it really works. Originally, he was going to put a radiator on there and then bathing and showering. What I've actually gone for is a double sink here. Then we're having a walk-in shower unit there. Toilet is, can't remember where the toilet goes actually, over that side. Then you've got a bath going in here. And again, we're considering these niches all the time and that in there. One of the designs that we had was niches in this wall, but it's going to really shove things over quite a bit. This is a big room, and it's a big room because the client wants that space and that ability to move around in there. So we don't want to make it too small, but I can't wait to share the designs with you on this one because it's going to look absolutely great. The other change that we've got, and again, this is a me suggestion, is we've now picked, planned and decided on what we're doing with this gable frame. So we've got a set of sliding doors going in and then a fixed frame gable above. Our client wanted to be able to open up and get some fresh air in and be able to sort of crack a window, per se, whenever it felt a little bit stuffy, I think is the Derbyshire word for it. Congested, don't know. So they went, oh, we're going to put big Velux in there. And I said, actually, no, let's put 2 small Velux windows in, and then we're going to avoid the drop-down lighting that's going off of that beam area there. So we'll put electric ones in. They're made by Facro. There's a bit of a lead-in, surprise. Everything in construction's got a lead into it, unfortunately, but they have been ordered, and we're looking forward to getting those apertures in and getting them Facro windows in there as well. The Facro windows, I prefer Facro because they have a temperature sensor on them and they also have a rain sensor. So if you do leave it ajar and it starts to rain, it'll self-close. And if the temperature does get above a certain level, then they'll open. And you don't have to worry about having a big whirligig or a pole or however you would normally operate a conventional roof window. There are other brands, but Facro I think are the best by far. So come over this way as well, because we've also been cracking on through these other rooms as well. We started penciling some designs for wardrobes in this room, which probably feels really, really early. We've planned and we've got some PowerPoints already in there and ready. We're going to bring a lighting point over because we're going to get some lighting into this wardrobe as well. Great little space. These rooms are just huge. So happy with the room size on this. Again, this ensuite shower room is exactly the same as the other. Got shower head on this side, shower controls on here, toilet and the wash hand basin and a vanity unit. So this again lifts and reduces the size of that glass panel. And we've also got towel rad going on there. Dual fuel, again, you will remember, always pick dual fuel on our projects. And you know the cost difference is about 30, 40 quid, which on a project of this size is just nothing, is it? Another similar sort of scenario to what we've got next door. We're maximising the opportunity with this structural stud wall, and we started thinking about wardrobes, layout, dressing tables, all the fixtures, fittings, and whatever the E stands for in FF&E, but all the cool stuff that's going to really matter and make a difference to our client as well. And as always, I love to come here and admire that beautiful view of the garden and the open fields behind it. Just look how lush that green grass is over there. And that's all from us. I hope that you've enjoyed this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking back out. Remember to hype, like, subscribe, whatever that means in young person's terminology. What a belter of a week it's been. Loads of progress made across the board. However, the weather's not really been on our side. I've had a fair old bit of hail, snow, rain, all of it going on. Been a little bit cold, which is the reason for pulling out the vintage Lillie Building Company gilet. It's got to be cold for this to come out. I don't actually know where these are from. I think they're Regatta, but they're seriously warm. So we're very grateful for this today. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, whatever day it is that you're watching on. Take care, and we'll see you next time. It's not a good day. Are you ready now? Keep making me fuck up here. Is it rolling? Welcome back to Project Duffield. Remember, oh, there we go. Well, for fuck's sake. Welcome back to Project Duffield. You're fucking hell, fuck me. It's all that sugar. You're stopping from talking. Welcome back to Project Duffield. Fucking go again. Welcome back.